Podcast. Welcome to the Puck Rattlers podcast. This is the 7th episode we have, and I am so happy to say that Matthew is back, and I hate to say it, but Jack Kelly is back, the one and only Leaf fan we will allow on this podcast. But if you haven't heard us yet, this is what we're about. We're about hot takes and what's happening at the NHL. Now, Matt, here it comes.
You want to know what's happening in the NHL?
What's happening?
Friend of the show, Jim frickin' Hiller, is the new head coach of the LA Kings, baby. Big congratulations. Well deserved. Been in the league for 10 or 11 years now. Grinding his way up, and he finally got that interim job with the LA Kings. And he is taking them to the cup, baby. Hot take right off the bat because LA Kings are winning the cup, baby.
Very hot take. I don't know if they're winning the cup, but I'm so happy to see that Jim Hiller's taken over. It's been a long time in the making. He's been assistant coaches at least since I've known for the Maple Leafs, New York Islanders, and Los Angeles Kings.
Red Wings for a year before that, baby.
Yeah, and the Red Wings for a year before that. He was with Babcock for a bit, and then Babcock, he did his thing, checked people's phones. He's out of the league, but Jim's still there, and it's been a long time in the making, but I think he's going to do a great job with Los Angeles. Stanley Cup. I don't know if I can do with Matt with that yet because the Red Wings are looking good, but I'm super happy for him. He's a dad of a longtime friend, and I think he's going to do a good job.
Dad of a big listener of the show, Talon Hiller.
One of the only
gets this and listen. One of our 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really great for him. He's deserved this for a while now. He's like one of the smartest hockey minds I know in the game, and just like it's amazing. It's so surreal to see this happen for him, and I'm sure the family's just loving it, and it's just like huge congratulations to Jim there.
You watched his press conference. What did you find interesting in that?
I just feel like he speaks very well, which I've always known, but like he just addressed the media well. He didn't seem to like get too nervous, which he might have been himself, but like overall he just seemed to really handle himself well out there, which was awesome.
What did he talk about mainly?
He talked about like a few things, just like how he's gonna kind of deal with like what the team needs to do moving forward.
Yeah, and then they've been on a 15-game losing streak or something crazy like that.
It was bad for a bit. They won a couple, but yeah, they were on a bad losing streak. And then I don't know. They have the personnel to be good, which is what he was talking about, but they just need to find their purpose again, I guess, or just like their sense of worth. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they're like. They just need to find themselves again because they're such a good team, but they just kind of lost like what they're all about, and that's what he's going to try and deliver. Just kind of get the locker room back intact, and also get Pierre-Luc Dubois going because that guy's been a mess.
What are considering that like you've worked with him for so long and like you have a long history with him? What are some kind of broad things that you can anticipate going forward for the Kings now in terms of like his coaching style?
I don't know if I can get too in depth about that, but like he's got like a defensive mind to the game, and what I believe to be the best way to
Jack farted.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get too much in depth about that, but he's got like a good defensive mind toward the game, and he evaluates players really well. So I feel like he'll implement strategies that will help the defensive side of the game and just like overall skills and all that he can bring out of players. And I mean, I've always said, I think defense wins championships, and just the way he coaches and what he's probably going to implement strategically is going to help the team moving forward.
Well, I know like he is mainly like a special teams guy, right?
He ran the power play when he was assistant coach.
Yeah, but like, why do you say he's defensive minded? Like, where does that come from?
Well, it's just like what he's taught me and his son and a couple other guys is just like the defensive side of the puck and how to evaluate defensemen and all that. And he's like, just overall, he's such a smart hockey mind. But I think he also realizes, and this is kind of where my beliefs come from, is just how important defense and defensive play is to a hockey team.
Yeah.
And it's just going to help the Kings moving forward, I feel.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think defense is definitely like, if not the most important part of hockey, like definitely one of, like, the old saying in the book, defense wins championships, right? But at the end of the day, like, he is a power play guy, so I just don't know how you see him helping defenses.
Well, yeah, he ran the power play, but he also ran the defensive core. Like he was the defensive
I didn't know
coach.
that.
Yeah.
All love to. What do you say to that?
I say there is running. You just have blades on your feet.
Yeah, well, obviously you weren't a good skater. Anyways,
So in-depth and wonderful commentary. Speaking of Dubois, like, again, considering that Hiller on James, on a personal level,
how personal?
How do you think? How do you think, like, he'll be able to motivate someone like that, someone that's just garbage,
Like,
as that guy.
I know the problem is like those players I feel like are hard to deal with. They just have such a big ego and just think they're like kind of the shit. But the thing is like Jim is such like a people person. Like wherever he's been, like even though it's been as an assistant coach, the locker room's absolutely loved him. And I just feel like he can kind of relate to Pierre-Luc Dubois. Well, not relate, but like connect with him and be able to get him going just like on a personal level.
An asshole. We're the both the same person.
No, not like that. Because Jim's the furthest thing from an asshole. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
We'll be able to connect with him on a personal level and just like be able to motivate him more so. Well, he's he did. He was first. He was actually drafted by the Kings.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a full circle moment now.
Gretzky?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a full circle moment. Like the team that drafted him in the first ever NHL game he played he's now the head coach of.
It's kind of cool. Card, which is pretty cool.
You have everybody's rookie card.
Shout out to fucking
except Gretzky's.
James Gauthier.
It's the classic adage that Gretzky wouldn't be who he is without Jim Hiller.
Facts.
You obviously hear it all the time, so it's.
But yeah, back to your question. I just think like just the way he evaluates players and like the skills he knows and just like the kind of niche stuff, he can really motivate him and get him going in the right spots and play him with the right players.
And what about, additionally, as a Sens fan, I would assume that you know a little bit of the insight of the latest additional hiring of Donald Trump Smith being...
Donald Trump?
I'm pretty sure that's what...
Donald Trump?
It's either Donald Trump or just
Is he Donald Trump's ugly cousin?
Yeah, no, DJ I was a big fan of. He's such a people person, and like I've met him before, and he's like one of the nicest guys, and he's actually a really smart hockey mind, and I believe like he's a great addition to the staff, and like sure he didn't work as a head coach for the Sens, but I think he'll be an awesome assistant coach, and I really like the personnel they've added now between Jim and him. And I don't know, I really believe that they're going to do really well because they just have such great personnel behind the bench. Two very smart hockey minds, and then Jans is also a good guy as well who I've met, and I really think they're going to go the distance just because they've got the minds behind the thing, and then strategically they're just going to implement a bunch of stuff that they've always wanted to.
Okay, well, that was a garbage take, so let's go on to the next topic.
Okay. Yeah. So Kings are in a wild card spot right now, and that kind of brings me to the point of who do you see that's in a playoff spot now that will not be in a playoff spot come playoff time?
Oh, did you come up with that on your own?
That was actually a question from longtime listener Jack Kelly, who is sitting next to me right now.
Oh, crazy. I'm thrilled to find,
just
long-time listener,
this
first
is Jack
time.
Kelly's shirt, and it fits perfectly.
I look like that as well, too, when I put it on, so it's whatever. I'm so flustered seeing Robbie's tight chest and that now. What was the question?
Who in a playoff spot do you see falling out come playoff time?
Oh, sure. I gotta say...
Definitely the Leafs. That's all I have to say.
I will burn this building to the ground.
I hope you do. It's your house.
I'd say Red Wings for sure in a spot. Crap City, been there. Wasn't impressed.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much the city has to do with the hockey,
Yeah, a
but
lot.
they do call it Hockey Town. So
Clearly, you don't know a lot about
at the
hockey,
end
so
of
you
the
don't know the
day,
impact
like-
of a city on it. Just so you know.
let's just look at the wild card right now. So what's the points?
So
So
wow.
Detroit has 58
I'm just gonna say
with
this.
50 games played. The next up is 56 with 51 games played
Is
with
this
the
helping?
Islanders.
Is this helping?
Leafs have
I'm just gonna say my 3 picks right
Please
now
do.
would be Detroit falling out, Philadelphia falling out, and St. Louis falling out. I do not see those 3 as playoff teams. Detroit's definitely on the brink of it, and they've been playing well. They started the season really hot. I just don't see them as a playoff team yet. But I will say I was very wrong with my before season takes, and I did not think Florida was going to make the playoffs, and they have been crushing it. So Detroit could very well surprise me, but I just don't see them as a playoff team if they do make playoffs out in round 1.
All right. So here's the thing. So I'm quitting the podcast first off because of that take. Second off, Matt's wrong. Third off, Jack wears an extra small men's shirt.
Just a small,
Uh,
woman's.
Fourth off, I just don't see Detroit falling out of a playoff spot because if you look at their record since they finally got a starting goalie, it's been night and day. Like they started off hot, sure, but who cares about the start of the season because so much shit's going on. Like Edmonton was last in the league, and now what? They were on a fucking 17 game win streak. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, who's your starting goalie?
Alex Lyon.
Wow, congratulations, a fucking third string.
Yeah, congratulations to third string. Yeah, speak up, boy. Well, look at his save percentage. What's your favorite team? Yeah, take off your jersey for Christ's sake. Yeah, take off your jersey. But Alex Lyon, his save percentage is over 900, which means I'll allow him to stay in the league. But I don't really see any team knocking them out. The only team I really see as a threat is honestly New Jersey, who is currently 2.5 games back. And even that, I don't see Detroit. I see them in a wild card spot, but I don't see them finishing behind Philadelphia.
No, not behind Philadelphia. But I said, Philadelphia is not going to make it either. But New Jersey's going to make it, and honestly, I think the Islanders will make it as well. And I just don't see Detroit as a playoff team, and I don't really know Patrick Waugh's coaching style, and maybe he's going to try to change things up. But defensively, the Islanders have always been solid, and they play playoff hockey. And the Red Wings just frustrate me because I don't think their personnel is that good. They've got good forwards, they've got good scoring, but just defensively, they don't impress me at all. And then goaltending is just such a huge question mark. Husso, when he's on, is amazing, but he hasn't been on this year. And yes, Lyon stepped in, but he doesn't impress me whatsoever. And
why not? Have you watched his games? Lyon has been absolutely lights out back there.
Lion's the king of the jungle, baby.
But
Lyon is the king of the jungle.
Okay,
you know what?
but bro,
he just
look
hasn't
at
been
what
given a chance.
Andrew Hammond did for the Sens. That's basically what I'm seeing from Lyon right now. He's just playing out of his ass for no reason. And maybe he'll bring them to playoffs, but it's not going to be sustainable whatsoever.
I don't care. As long as he brings it to playoffs, I don't care. Just put us back in the playoffs. We're still young. Give us a
I know you're young, and I'm saying and the experience is the most important thing.
Experience. We get the wild card experience. We probably get knocked out in the first round. I'm okay with that. I don't see us getting knocked out right now. I see New Jersey probably making it, but
I just think New Jersey and the Islanders are going to make it.
Other than New Jersey really pulling up the ranks, I definitely see Philadelphia falling.
Philly, I don't think is sustainable at all.
No, they're falling out of the ranks.
But that brings me to my next point, which is what teams outside of playoffs do you think are going to be in playoffs?
Well, let's just look at the Western Conference real quick because we are Eastern Division.
So like I said, I think the Blues are getting knocked off, and I didn't believe this at the start of the season, but I see Seattle taking their spot just based off the last year. So
yeah, no, I could see Seattle crawling in there, but
Nashville's getting old. They've got some young players, but they're a pretty old team. They'll probably be sellers at the deadline. So I just think that Seattle's going to be that team to sneak in.
You know
what?
I feel like the Western Conference.
I think it's pretty solid right now.
It's just not very fun. like I feel like the top teams are just so much better than the bottom teams.
I wouldn't say that. I think it's still fun, but I think they've got like 7 solid teams.
Yeah, like I feel like I don't see anything really changing over there. Like it's like they're the teams at the top are the teams at the top for a reason, and the teams at the bottom are just garbage. Like you look at
Okay, but look at the fucking Sens, man. They're garbage.
The Sens suck.
I know the East has garbage teams as well.
They have garbage team, but like I feel like the
Did you
East,
say team?
Yeah, the
singular.
Sens,
Fuck
the Sens,
you.
they suck. But like I feel like
Team bad.
I feel like the Western Conference has more separation than the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but I just like 7 solid teams enough. Like I don't think a team from the East is winning the cup. To be honest, I think
You
it's
still think
gonna
the
be from the West.
Who do you think?
There's so many teams. That's the thing. Like I said, I think the Kings are going. Might be a biased take, but like the Jets have slowed down lately, but they were on such a hot start. Dallas is insane. Colorado doesn't impress me as previous years, but they're still a gross team. Vegas is just sturdy as hell, and Vancouver I don't think is a playoff team, but like they've had an insane year.
Yeah, Vancouver is fucking. They're exciting.
I just think a team from the West is easily taking the cup.
Yeah, they have those powerhouses at the top, but like they're as you move down, like I just don't think.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter when you move down into playoffs because it's the top teams that make it.
No, I agree, but like all I'm saying is, I feel like there'll be less like movement in the West.
Fair enough, and I agree with you because I only said one team's dropping out, and one's making it.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be St. Louis swap for Seattle.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Quick off the dome, talking about finals and Stanley Cup winners. Who do you think's coming out of the East and out of the West?
We've done this before, and
we're mid-season now. We're mid-season now.
Yeah.
And
trade
you know what?
right?
I was just gonna say, my pick in the East hasn't really changed. I still think Detroit's making it to the finals. Matt's takes are terrible, and then out of the West, like I want Edmonton in there so fucking bad. I want Edmonton so bad. I want McDavid to win a Stanley Cup so bad. But at the end of the day, I don't see like them beating like a Colorado or a Winnipeg or a Vegas. All 3 of those teams are better than Edmonton at the end of the day. Even though there's such a powerhouse up front, like there's still so many holes in that team where I just don't see them really beating one of those other ones.
You're cheering for the Grinch if you're cheering for McDavid, man. Do you not know that he's stolen Christmas multiple times?
I'm a big fan of Green, and his heart grew.
Can I see the East again? Can I see the East again? Like my picks probably don't change in the East. Out of 3, I'd say it's between the Rangers, the Hurricanes, and the Bruins. And I know those are 2 of the top 2 Metro, and then the top in the Atlantic. But just like, I know I do like the Hurricanes. Really? They haven't been amazing this year, but they've also kind of struggled with Anderson being out. And like Burns wasn't the same as he was last year. But whatever, like I'd say if I had to pick those 3, but if I was narrowing it down to 2, I'd say either Rangers or Bruins. I know those are the top teams in each of their division, but the Bruins, like I said at the start of the year, people were kind of counting them out, and they're just like the way they play hockey. Their decor is disgusting, their goaltending's nasty, and they still have good forwards. It's just a well-built team, and they play good hockey and they play tough. Like I was talking to listener of the show and good friend Mike Pollock. Charlie McAvoy is probably the second best defenseman in the league, in my opinion. Yeah. Maybe third, but I'd say he's top 3 easy. Has the most bite in the league, plays so intense, does everything, plays offense and defense. And Mike brought up a great point to me. Mike brought up a great point to me. He plays every shift like it's his last, and he plays it so effectively. He's the epitome of intensity in the league.
Charlie McAvoy looks like a 10-year-old staring into a gumball machine, man.
I don't care what he looks like. He's fucking disgusting at hockey.
He just doesn't have the build, doesn't have the face.
He's 6'1", like 200 something pounds.
Looks like he's lacking a lot of moxie.
Yeah, you literally sound like you sound like somebody who's like, "Oh, hockey shouldn't be in Arizona. Hockey shouldn't be in the southern states. Keep it in Canada." Like,
Just
fuck
saying,
you.
man, during the winter, man, he fucking buries his nuts because the dude looks like a fucking squirrel, man. Like his cheeks are
He's
enormous.
disgusting. He is disgusting at hockey. Probably the second best defenseman in the league, in my opinion.
Who's number one?
Makar, easy.
Yeah, okay. So you're putting him in front of Yossi and Fox?
Fox, yes, 100%. Fox is like 5'11", and he's good at hockey. Don't get me wrong. He plays right. He's a smart hockey player, and he's very effective offensively and still good defensively. But at the end of the day, he is like 5'11", and I just can't take undersized defensemen.
I got something to say. I got something to say there, gentlemen. Size doesn't matter.
If you're a defenseman in hockey, it absolutely matters. I'm sorry. If you're a defenseman in hockey, size is the most important thing. If you have intensity, which Charlie McAvoy does, because he's the most intense defenseman out there. Anyway, yes, I'm putting him above Yossi.
You want to talk about intensity?
Strictly out of this
Okay,
year,
intense.
Yossi 2 years ago was probably the best defenseman in the league and got scammed out of the Norris for some reason because they had to give it to Makar, even though he had more points and was better defensively. But
That doesn't sound like a scam at all.
yeah, it's a big scam.
Big Sam?
But
Anyone know Big Sam?
Big Sam.
McAvoy, I'd say, is number 2 right now. Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
What we're going to do next is we're going to do a little segment.
You didn't even ask trivia this time.
No, that's what I'm getting to.
Oh, okay.
I guess we often during trivia.
Shut up, Jack. Anyways, we're getting into a little segment here. Trivia with Robbie.
There's been farts.
Okay, shut up, Jack. Okay, so this is going to be easy trivia. Who has the most points as an American right now?
Patrick Kane.
This season in the NHL.
Like this current season?
Yes, this current season.
I just meant
Matthews.
You didn't buzzer in.
Me. That's how my buzzer sounds.
Okay.
Wait, let me. Just make sure. Just make sure it works.
Yeah.
Me.
Okay, yeah.
I believe it's Austin Matthews.
Matt?
I think he's right.
Wah, wah. JT Miller, both of you guys are fucking wrong. Matthews is like 4th right now.
because he just has like a.
He has goals, man.
Yeah, fuck.
Okay, so you guys are 0 for fucking 2 right now.
That doesn't.
Two?
No, that's not
You
how
guessed
it
the
works.
one you
Yeah, but you're both 0 for. Let's do the math, okay? 0 for 2, 0%. Okay. Who has the most goals as a the most points as a Canadian right now?
Nathan McKinnon.
I was saying McDavid, I suppose.
Jack is wrong once again. It is McKinnon. So yeah, that's all I have for trivia right now.
In the league, or maybe first now, but he was second.
Yeah, he's 2nd right now. Cooch is first. So yeah, right now we got JT Miller, who honestly hate to say it, but is really good.
You know what I hate to say?
What do you hate to say?
I hate to say the fact that JT Miller half the time doesn't look like he's trying. And because half the time he isn't fucking trying. And this year he has gone off. Do not get me wrong. But in seasons past, he just doesn't give a shit. And it pisses me off because if you're that talented and that skilled, give it to fucking me so I can be in the NHL because I would try my ass off.
Yeah.
Because fuck you for having that much skill and no intensity. Pisses me
I got
off.
something to say about that as well too. JT stands for Just Tase, and I do not support police violence.
Is that what his name really stands for?
Interesting.
I don't think that's it.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it was Justin Timberlake.
Now that's something I can get behind.
That is a good fucking artist. Speaking of artists, let's get on Michael. Anyways, Michael Bublé, what do you guys think about him? How about we talk a little bit about the All-Star game?
The All-Star game, I'm going to be completely honest here. I did not watch, nor do I ever do. I went to the All-Star game in 2012, and that was probably the last real one I actually watched. I have watched a skill competition a couple times. I think I watched it last year at Jack's house. Shout out Jack, who's sitting next to me.
I watched it with Jack this year.
But
Jack's a
I was
big fan.
busy this year, was coaching, and didn't get to catch it. But All-Star competition's always fun. Didn't look so fun this year with like Kucherov not trying.
Yeah,
And
I was
then,
gonna
like-
say people are talking about Kucherov not trying is gonna like lessen
I know.
his odds of getting the Hart
I know that's
Trophy.
bullshit. And then people also said he should get suspended for it.
Yeah, no,
I was like, who gives a fuck, man? It's the
Yeah.
All-Star. No one cares about it.
Yeah, well, like $1 million, I'd care, but like,
Okay, yes, but they also
and it
already
kinda,
make millions.
you know what? It kind of looks poorly on him. But at the end of the day,
But they don't want to
it
be
shouldn't-
there, man. They just want to take time off.
Yeah, no, that's not what they want to do. And like, at the end of the day, sure, he didn't try, and it looked poorly. But the Hart Trophy is a completely different question. Who gives
I know
a
it's
fuck?
the All-Star.
Yeah,
But then, like, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck,
like sure, Justin Bieber was there, Tate McRae or whatever. her
bro.
name
They
is.
like you're telling me they're gonna take away the heart from him when Justin Bieber's warming up with the players on
Mhm.
the ice.
Mhm.
Like, it's not serious whatsoever.
Mhm.
Players take it as a joke. They just want to go out there and have fun, even though they don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's just bullshit to fucking even think like he should get punished for that.
Yeah. Did you guys see that Michael Bublé thing where he's like, I'm microdosing,
But
on
it's
mush-"
more
This was
than
not a
microdose.
microdose. This
Yeah.
is not a microdose.
I
Talk
did
about
see
a
that.
Michael Boob.
Talk about a Michael dose.
Yeah, honestly, he
That's a knee
that's a
slapper.
bad look. That's all I can say. That's a bad look, and I love Michael Bublé's music. You know, it's a beautiful day.
I'm
but,
gonna
like,
I'm gonna say I love the fact that he at least announced it.
I am.
Yeah, I think it was very
he, I think he needed to because something seemed off with him during that press conference. He looked like, not like he looked like, but he sounded like a fucking buffoon that whole time. And he's like, "This is not a microdose." I'm like, yeah, no, it makes sense now. He is definitely high. But
Okay, so All-Star game this year, they're replacing it next year with the Four Nations of Hockey. So we're gonna have a USA, Canada, Finland, and Sweden showdown, and we have prepared some rosters for that, some mock
they're
rosters.
replacing the All-Star game,
Yes, with
and
the Four Nations of Hockey.
but that means that Germany won't get a team and Mort Sider won't make it.
Robbie, there's like 4 players on Germany.
Yeah, but Mort Sider's one of
It's
them.
supposed to be the NHL. There's 4 players on Germany in the NHL.
Next year, man.
So with our findings, we're gonna share them now. Who wants to go first here?
I'll go first because I didn't do.
Something to say really quick. I'm looking at Matt's phone. A lot of disgusting images. Please go on.
Yeah, no, Matt, you got to clean that up. But anyways, I didn't do Finland and Sweden just because there simply is not enough talent in the NHL from those two places. And I quite honestly think that replacing the All-Star game with the Four Nations is completely stupid. I think that is kind of a scam. I definitely think that they could do the All-Star game differently. More similar to like how the MLB does it, and like people get voted in for the starting positions, and then the coaches pick the other players. Because I feel like that would be less bias based off fan voting. But and like I don't think every team deserves a player. We talked about that last podcast. But anyways, here's what I got for Team Canada. On the first line, at center, I got McDaddy, the one and only. Best offensive player in the NHL. No doubt. I think he should be a first-line center anywhere he goes.
What a scorching hot take.
He is the best player in the NHL offensively, not defensively, but I got him in between on the left wing, Reinhart. I put him on his off wing, and then Marner, because I think Reinhart's going to add some scoring power to complement those two players. And then on the second line, I got McKinnon in between Verhaeghe and Stone. Third line, I got Point in between Marchand and Robert Thomas, which is just a great name because if you guys don't know, my middle name is Thomas and my first name is Robert. Might be some bias, but Robert Thomas definitely, after this year, deserves to be on this roster.
You're basically on the roster.
And then on the fourth line, you know, I got a couple gritty guys. I got O'Reilly on the left wing. Fucking give me some veteran presence. The fourth line is just veteran presence, to be honest.
How do you not have O'Reilly at center? He's like one of the best at faceoffs.
Because I got Crosby at center.
On the fourth line.
On the fourth line. But beside Crosby's name, I got a C beside him. I need Crosby captain of that Team Canada.
See the C, baby.
Yep, see the C, said the kid. And yeah, so I got Crosby in between O'Reilly and Barzal. And then at defense, on the first defensive pairing, I have Makar on right, Riley on left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate to put a Leafs that high,
Oh, really?
but
Morgan Riley?
you know what?
Really?
The stats don't lie. Morgan Riley is a good defenseman. He's very powerfully offensively. And Makar has kind of stepped up his game defensively. So I think that Riley's kind of lack of defensive ability kind of can be outweighed by Makar. And then on the second line, I got Morrissey and Dobson. And then the third line, I got Burns and Bouchard. Goaltending, I have Binnington, number 1. Having a good year. He's really stepped up his game. Ingram, number 2. And Jerry, number 3. Really hope we don't see Jerry there.
Normally don't. So for my Team Canada, a little different here. First line, I got McDavid, and on his right wing, got to put him with an Oiler here, Zach Hyman.
Oh, I was thinking about that, but
he's having a killer year. He's crushing it, and playing with McDavid's going to be unreal. No, and then on the left side, I had Point with them. My second line, I got McKinnon centering Marchand and Crosby, because you got to keep Marchand and Crosby together. Known Team Canada vets who have played gross together. Yup.
You're taking Crosby out of the dot?
See, I didn't want to, and he definitely should be playing center.
He should be center all day.
Yeah, McKinnon should probably be on the wing. That was kind of dumb, but I was just thinking a 1-2 punch of McDavid and McKinnon was unreal.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, Crosby should be center. You're absolutely right there. My third line, I had Barzal with Reinhart and Bedard. And then I have a fourth.
I didn't even think of Bedard.
I have a fourth line shutdown line here. We got Suzuki, Marner, and Stone.
You were so biased towards Suzuki.
Bro, because he's gross.
He's good.
No,
He's
man.
good at hockey.
Get him out of there.
Not a
Half the
chance.
sport.
Nick Suzuki does not deserve
Sick
to be on
name.
this line.
No, okay, that's a line. And then my extra forward was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Yeah, I threw in extras. And then on D, you got to keep Taves and Makar together. They're just gross in Colorado. And although Makar kind of carries that, it's just you got to keep them together. And then second line, keeping them same team together here. We got Theodore with Piet. I know he's going to be 35, but he's a cup champion 2 times and kind of gross still good shutdown. So I'm going to keep Piet up there. And then a little bit of bias here, but I'm going Chychrun and Dougie Hamilton as my third pair. It's a third pair, and Chychrun's a top 4 defenseman, so I'm fine with that. And then as my extra defenseman, I had Adam Pelech because he's just gross defensively. If you needed to throw him in, you can. And then in net, I had Stuart Skinner as my starter with Aiden Hill backing up and Logan Thompson as my third string.
So I find that you put a lot of emphasis on like keeping chemistry between players, but I think that you were definitely lacking on like having just the best players in the lineup.
See, this is just kind of who I want to see, and I still think that you have great players in the lineup and like some studs in there. I don't really think I missed anybody who wasn't a stud, to be honest.
Studs only on this team, people. Come on.
And then just
like I do not see Taves deserving to be on this team.
Taves is way better than Riley.
Are you kidding?
No.
Why do you think Taves shouldn't be on the team?
Dude, like he just hasn't proved himself as much as Riley. Like Riley definitely deserves to be on this. Definitely above Chychrun too.
Yeah, okay. Chychrun was a bit biased. Chychrun was a bit biased.
You could have a 7th of Riley.
Okay, but my thing is, Riley's good for the power play. You have Theodore and Makar there. You don't need Riley for the power play. And what else does he offer?
Just 5-on-5. Give me 5-on-5, Riley.
You need Riley for the babes he brings in. Come on.
No. Riley's just inconsistent, and I can't take him. Yeah, Marner's on my 4th line with Suzuki and Stone. It was my shutdown line. It was my shutdown line. But anyway, you can put the best players on Canada, and I'm telling you right now, they are not competing with USA. USA is so gross. There were so many players on this USA team that I left out that are just disgusting hockey players and definitely first liners or good defensemen, even a great fucking goalie. And I had to leave them out because USA is just that nasty. Anyway, bring it to my USA team.
So obviously, you and I have had discussions about this in depth and volume, about how I don't think USA really freaking holds a candle to Canada. So to every name that you say on that list, because I haven't seen it yet. I can
see it now, and I want to throw up.
I will react to every player.
Okay. So my line one, yes, Matt Tkachuk with Matthews and Brady Tkachuk.
Dumb name.
Bro, you can't not put the Tkachuks together. And
I can do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, because you're gonna
Matthews.
I'm not gonna let Brady on because you're gonna put a fucking 5'9" DeBrincat over a 6'2" Brady Tkachuk.
You know what?
Who's a better player?
You know what DeBrincat doesn't do? Take 8 penalties a game.
Okay, Brady has actually calmed down his penalties. If you look at years past, years past,
okay, good. Now he's only
he still takes penalties. I won't lie, but.
Fucking 105 penalty minutes
this
year.
Yes,
it's not even.
And he's had like 7 or 8 fights.
It's halfway through. He's going to 200.
That's 5 minutes per.
Probably
he's probably had 10-minute majors as well.
Might as well just put USA on the fucking penalty kill the whole time. So might as well just get defensive players for the whole roster.
Okay, what can DeBrincat do that Brady can't?
Not take penalties.
Oh wow, good one, man.
Oh, good one.
No, fuck you. Okay. DeBrincat is 5'9", can't forecheck for shit. Brady forechecker. Okay. DeBrincat net front. Oh no, he'll just get bodied by any single defenseman in this. Yep. DeBrincat can maybe score better, and yes, I'll give him that. But he hasn't been doing that lately, and Brady can still score goals.
He can still score and take penalties.
Fuck you with your penalties. Anyway, okay, I got Matt Tkachuk, Matthews, and Brady Tkachuk on my first line.
Brady Tkachuk? Scaredy to suck. Go on.
Yeah. Okay, good point. My second line: Jason Robertson, Jack Hughes, and Kyle Connor.
I respect it.
Filthy.
Hang on. Yeah, it's a good line, dude. But come on.
What the fuck are you saying?
Why is JT Miller not on either of those?
Okay. Who is your first line for Canada?
But
No. Who's your first line for Canada?
You can put anyone.
Who's your first line for Canada? Name the 3 best Canadian players right now.
David, Crosby, McKinnon. Load up.
Okay, there you go. Now who's your second line?
Zach Hyman, obviously. Oh shit.
Yeah.
You put the 2 best
centers on the first line. You just put the 3 best Canadians together on one line. You just put the 3 best Canadians, and you can rotate. Not a fucking chance. Dude. Not a fucking chance, bro. Right now, dude, I am Canadian, and I absolutely think USA is gonna smack them.
You're a
smack them. So yeah, Robertson, Hughes, and Connor. That's just disgusting. Then your third line, for me at least. Who I want?
Guys have brittle bones,
Keller,
dude.
Tage Thompson, and Jack Eichel.
So weird,
Keller,
dude.
Tage Thompson, and Jack Eichel.
Wait, say that again.
Keller, Tage Thompson, and Jack Eichel.
I haven't heard DeBrincat yet.
DeBrincat's not on my team.
Fat Eichel.
And then my fourth line, I have Kreider, Larkin, and JT Miller.
Cryer.
You might as well put fucking.
and then Beniers as my extra. On D,
get some goals out of
on D, my first pair, Hughes and McAvoy, Slavin and Fox on the second. Had to throw a rhyming third pair. Little bit of bias here. Mikey Anderson with Jake Sanderson, and then Luke Hughes as my extra, and then in net. I'm sorry, Jeremy Swayman. I know you're a big fan of the podcast. Love you to death. You're a great guy. You're one of the best fucking goalies I know. And but I had to go Demko, Hellebuck, and Ottinger. Who's your Team USA, Robbie?
First off, I just want you guys to know that I'm extremely nauseous after hearing Matt's picks. Okay, yeah. Who's the fucking third star in the All-Star game? Yeah, it's DeBrincat. Anyways,
He got you there, Matthew. He really
anyways. Line number 1. Okay. Quick disclaimer: Brady Tkachuk will not be joining my team simply because I don't want my team to be on the penalty kill the whole time. Anyways, so first line, Matthews, center. We can agree on that, Matt. In between Robertson and Trocheck. What I did was I was trying to find lines where we could have a goal scorer built around playmakers. So that's why I had Matthews at center around Robertson and Trocheck. Second line, I had JT Miller in between Besser and Tkachuk, Besser being the goal scorer on that line. Third line, I had Larkin at center because he's a fucking god, and he should have been the all-star for Detroit, even though how much I love the Cat. Larkin is better, but he will be with DeBrincat on the right wing with Jack Hughes, and DeBrincat would be the guy that they want to score. And then fourth line, I got Eichel in between Keller and Kreider. I think Kreider would.
You have Kyle Connor on your team?
Absolutely not. He's underrated.
He is underrated.
He's very underrated. He's a great goal scorer.
He's way better than
He would be my
DeBrincat.
extra. He would be my extra. I didn't even think about Kyle Connor. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't trust a guy with 2 first names.
Yeah, you know what, Jack? That's exactly why I didn't include him on my team. Matthew Taylor, you fucking weirdo. Anyways, on D, first line, I had Hannafin on left and Quinn Hughes on the right. Second line, I had McAvoy with Fox, and then third line, I had Slavin with Faber. And then goalies, I had Hellebuck, number 1. And then Demko, and then I just threw Quick in there because I fucking love. I fucking love Jonathan
in
Quick.
The past, he's like shit. Well, not past, but like last couple of years, he's been shit. But
he's been back on his stuff.
Outperforming Shesterkin.
Yeah, no, he's had one of the best save percentages in the NHL.
I hate is that he's like 38 next year.
Yeah, I know. Like maybe next year he might like pull his hip out of the socket or something. Yeah. But until then, like I'm gonna keep him there at the third string, almost just to kind of like be that veteran presence. And I'm a very big believer in having someone as like a mentor that kind of like keeps you mentally stable, which is why I had
I don't know if a goalie can do that.
Oh, all goalies are weird. We all know that. Yeah, Matt has something to say, but I do believe having like a veteran presence on your team is important, especially like if you're doing like an Olympic roster, because not that many guys have had that Olympic experience, and I think it's a big deal, and a lot of guys can like get almost weary about it.
See, I respect your team, I respect your opinion, but it's shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Say
that Matt has a big stain on his shirt right here.
We like to have fun here. I really like Team Canada's hopes of getting gold if Robbie is the GM of Team USA.
Okay, exactly, because he make the worst fucking team. Okay,
but I hope Canada wins too.
So just quickly,
It's the first time I'll ever agree with you.
Quickly, these two didn't do this, but I'm just going to run through my Sweden and Finland rosters. I think it's pretty obvious and pretty even throughout anybody who picks Sweden and Finland, just because there's not too much to pull from. But we're going to go Sweden here. Philip Forsberg with Pettersson and Nylander. Adrian Kempe with Zibanejad and Raymond. Leo Carlsson with Elias Lindholm and Jesper Bratt. Gabriel Landeskog with William Karlsson and Joel Eriksson-Ek. And then Fabian Zetterlund as my extra. On D, I got Hedman, Dahlin, Hampus Lindholm, Rasmus Andersson, Ekholm, Erik Karlsson, and then Forsling as my extra. And then in net, Allmark, Markstrom, Philip Gustafsson, baby. The stud.
Actually, like at the end of the day, that's a solid.
It's a great fucking team.
That is a great fucking team.
I think they picked four good nations. Sorry, I should say 3 good nations, and then Finland. Yeah. No, Finland has some studs, but they're just weaker in depth there. But like, yeah, Sweden's gross, man.
Sweden is
Yeah.
gross. That is, I didn't even like look at those players, but that is a really good line. Like Eric, you had Eric Carlson on your third D pairing, eh?
Yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah.
Like he is a first line defenseman. Like that is still a super stacked team. I might even argue like those defensemen are better than. Don't hate me for saying this, but maybe better than Canada's defensemen.
I think
you guys
I don't
hate your country,
no I
and
don't
it's
I don't
so
agree with
evident.
I don't agree with that take just to the fact that
I think they're better.
no they're kind of like primarily offensive defensemen.
They're all offensive, but I love offense. You know that.
Okay, fair point. Anyway, my team.
Pardon me, quick fun fact about one of the players on Team Sweden, Joel Eriksson Ek. People think that Ek is part of his last name. It's not. It's the equivalent of having like PhD or MD at the end of your name, and the X stands for close erectile kinesiology.
Okay,
Not
fair
the
enough.
only stick.
So my team Finland is Rupe Hintz with Barkov and Rantanen, Teuvo Teravainen with Sebastian Aho and Patrick Laine, and then this is a pretty solid third line, I like to think. Jesper Kotkaniemi with Anton Lundell. Anton, right?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. And Matthias Michelli. And then Lehkonen with Parsonen and Kakko, and Tolvanen as my extra. And then we get a little weak on the D side of things.
You know what?
You got-
brother, you know what I'm
you got-
saying? You know what I mean? All right, let's settle down. Come on, let's get to work. Come on.
You got a good top pair in Heiskanen and Lindell. Then you got Hakanpää and Välimäki, Mata and Ristolainen, and your extra is Yoki Haru. Right? And then in net, Saros, Huso, and Corpy Baby.
See, here's the problem with those teams is you look at Team Canada and every single guy you have on that team is a first liner. You look at Finland, a lot of those guys are not first liners.
I know, that's why I said they lack in the depth department.
Yeah, like they have those guys, like the firepower, but at the end of the day, like they're, as you go down the lineup, like you're getting guys playing on their true line.
Yeah, so but then here's what I'll argue is that it's better to have depth players in depth positions.
Really?
Because playing stars
I
like
like that.
playing stars
I
like
like
10,
that.
12 minutes a night, they're not
Yes.
used to that shit.
No.
They want to be out there all the time. They want to
Yeah.
be making impacts on the game.
Yeah.
And you've noticed it in the past in the NHL when they try to move star players down the lineup, they just don't play as well. So it's like, yes, Canada's stacked and they have like a top 6 forwards throughout and top 4 defensemen throughout, but they're not being played as such, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be sustainable. I feel it's just like
Yeah.
like you want depth players in your depth positions.
Like even like in games, like you'll see coaches strategically put out like a third line or a fourth line against a first line because they want that like checking force against them. Like,
And you
guess
get
they
shut
wouldn't
down
have
as
that.
well.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
100%. Which is why I made my shutdown fourth line for the Team Canada there,
Oh,
Suzuki,
yeah. Good
Marner.
job,
So
good job.
thanks.
Brady
and then-
still doesn't deserve to be in there, but whatever. Penalty killing.
And then,
What am I gonna say?
So we have an interesting thing going on here now. Our friend Jack Kelly here to my right, wave your hand, Jack, has recreated the World Cup of Hockey roster of Team North America U23 and Team Europe. And he's just going to present his findings here on who he believes should be on those rosters.
And
So who do you want to start with here, Jack?
Will we think they can beat either of the teams?
I am probably not going to share Team Europe, besides maybe the forwards, because
Because you didn't do the defense.
well, let me tell you, it gets bleak. It gets real bleak. Outside of Yossi and Sider, it's tough to watch, to say the least. But Team North America, honestly, talking about, especially your team, I'd say I'd compare it more to, again, I'm not super high on Team USA, but I think the Team North America that I constructed can go up against Team USA. I think they can go up against Sweden. Again, I think Canada's just them boys, if you will. And nothing can, oh, thank you. I don't think anyone stands a chance against them, but yeah, my team North America is, On the wing, Boldy, centered by Hughes, and then on the right wing, Bedard, obviously. Lost skill and speed, little bit of experience with Hughes in the middle, which is nice. Second line, Seth Jarvis, Wyatt Johnson, and Byfield on the wing, and Jarvis on the wing. Again, just like poised, nice defense presence by Byfield, Johnson, and Jarvis. So a little bit more offensively based, but Wyatt Johnson's still pretty decently defensively, in my opinion. Third line is where things get pretty freaking crazy, pretty game change. This is where games are won, people. Not on the top two lines. Third, fourth line, press box. What I've always been saying. Fantilli, McTavish, and Cousins on the third line.
That's a great line.
Thank you. Played with each other often in international competition, in U18, U17. Have some cohesion, size, grit, speed, and skill. They can match up with, I think, essentially maybe a little bit tough against Team USA, to be completely honest with you. But anyone else in this world, any third lineup, this third line is beating them, in my very humble opinion. And then I think a nice fourth line, and Beniers, I maybe could go without him, just based on the play style of the other two guys, and Poitras and Lafreniere. Poitras and Lafreniere are a little bit more poised, a little bit more responsible defensively, which kind of Beniers unfortunately kind of lacks. But yeah, it's considering, like most people, considering young players, not defensively responsible. I like to think that the bottom six is very good in the corners and a little bit in a shutdown role.
Jack, I hate to interrupt, but do you think anyone who was in like the World Juniors this year could make that lineup? Because you didn't include any, but I definitely think like maybe one or Poitras. Two. Okay, but like
still. Who do you think? Who else do you think?
Give me Celebrini, bro. Look at those hands. Put him on a second line. I don't give a fuck. Dude, come on.
He doesn't give a fuck, people.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I think that, like, I remember when they did the North American team back when they did the World Cup a while ago. Pretty sure Matthews was on it. I'm pretty sure McDavid was on it. Like, I think both those guys hadn't even entered the league yet, and they were already there.
My problem is McDavid was in the league already, yes.
Okay, McDavid was in the league.
But
I think he was injured that year, though.
He was generational. Matthews was playing in a older league, so you could tell he was going to be the shit. Yeah. And then, like, Celebrini, yes, he's playing in college, but all these other guys Jack has picked are current NHL players, and we haven't seen Celebrini touch the NHL. And I just think you should, in an NHL competition, you should see him play in the NHL before you get too high on him. Yeah. Yes, he looked like a good player in the World Juniors, don't get me wrong, but I'm under the belief that you got to see these guys play at the top level before they can establish themselves as world players.
Yeah, that's valid. That's very valid. But, like, I even think, like, you're missing, like, I hate to say it, Cole Caulfield.
He's 24.
He's our age.
23. He's 23.
He's our age.
I think he's a January 01, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Old bastard.
Everyone on this roster is better than Cole Caulfield. Are you kidding me, dude?
Well. Really?
Yes. He might have a goal song, but other than that,
hey, goal songs are important. Okay.
Never said they weren't. He just looks like.
You mentioned his name when you were making this roster as
well. Well, the guy just looks like a prepubescent fish, dude.
You know what?
Like,
what Jack, he might be the only NHL star that's NHL player that's shorter than you.
You're not going to hear another podcast after this. There's going to be missing people reports. I was in Guelph the entire time when the bodies will be found in the Owen Sound region.
Owen Sound? Why there? That place sucks.
It's where you deserve to lay.
Who's on your D?
Sorry, yeah, who's on your D?
A boy never kisses and tell, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't be rude. So Luke Hughes, obvious reasons. Brock Faber, Fabier, however you want to pronounce it.
No
I don't want to pronounce it like that.
There's no I in there.
You know what?
I had him on Team USA.
There's no I in the team.
Faber.
He's off the team now, since I can't say his name. Strict rules. Lou Lamoriello-esque. Jake Sanderson, Bowen Byram on the second line. Sanderson, super dynamic offensively. Admittedly, I had a little. Oh, I'm breaking things. Admittedly, had a little bit of sway from Matt. He's incredibly influential. You see the sweet, kind, considerate side of him on the camera.
He's a terrible person.
Dude, camera turns off, lights go out.
It's abusive.
Survival of the fittest, man. And let me tell you, I'm not the fittest. Yeah. People are dying out here. So based on that pressure, I put him in there. Bowen Byram can play on either side. Incredibly well defensively, very dynamic, 200-foot player. You'd kind of hope for a defenseman. Unfortunately, that's not a guarantee nowadays. No. Back in the day, defensemen played defense.
That's not true.
Who didn't play defense?
Bobby Orr.
Okay, well, that's different.
He was a
And
forward.
I'm going to tell you why after I think for a second.
Joe?
No one's ever played defense. They were way more offensive back in the day as well.
Because they could be. They were playing with people that had lead on their feet.
Just continue.
And
because
lastly,
you're
Owen Power, size, speed, dynamic, and then Brendan Schneider on the Rangers, mostly size. Oh my God, this place is gonna burn. Whatever your name is, hope you show up to camp. Shutdown guy, big body, nice to have two huge guys on the third line.
You
there.
love huge guys, eh?
Quick disclaimer, Jack wanted to put Kevin Korchinski on his first pair.
I can tell things about you too, you know. I can let the people know.
What?
You have Brady Tkachuk on your first line, dude.
They did.
So
And he
ridiculous.
shouldn't even be on the roster.
And by the way, pictures of him in his room too. I rest my case.
You're still up for gold.
Oh God,
Joseph Wallace.
I hate the sound of my own voice. Just kidding. I love it. I know you love it too.
I like the ASMR you're doing.
So I've goalies get pretty thin. Dustin Wolf and Devin Levi is my goalies.
Are they that
No,
thin, though?
Wall is 25.
How thin are they?
They can probably fit through the crack of that door. Pretty lanky.
The door's not open, by the way.
So thin they are.
very thin.
Dustin Wolf, best goalie in the AHL the last 2 years previously. Has been pretty good for Calgary. Devin Levi, all the potential in the world. We already know that. And yeah, I thought it was a fun little thing to do to put this Team North America together. And I think it can compete with everyone except for Team Canada, in my incredibly humble opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they can compete with USA. I think that's a stupid take.
USA is winning the Four Nations. Let's be real here.
So USA is probably coming second, especially if they use mats. North America might give them a fight, but like I definitely
DeBrincat.
DeBrincat is better than Brady Tkachuk.
That's not true at
Hey,
all.
where was he in the All-Star game?
He was there.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he sucked.
Can I ask? I have a question for all 12 of your listeners. How do you pronounce DeBrincat?
DeBrincat.
And do you pronounce it correctly or incorrectly?
DeBrincat.
DeBrincat.
So you can hear that one of these two is pronouncing it correctly, and the other one is saying "cat" at the end of his name.
Meow. DeBrincat. I'm allergic to cats.
You called him Fabier. I don't think you're in a spot to talk.
Fabier, please, God,
Okay.
respect Latino heritage, Matthew.
So, yeah. I don't know what else to talk about.
I think this is
I
it.
think that's a pod right there.
Yeah.
I think we did okay, but just okay.
So that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Puck Prowlers podcast. Doing it in Jack's room again. It was a very fun episode. Robbie has to show his feet every time because he's Robbie. Look how big he looks. Anyway, thank you for listening or watching wherever you are. And if you got any comments or questions, leave it in the section below of either Spotify or YouTube. Thank you very much.